Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another podcast episode. My name is Alicia Gogan, the host of the Glow Up Secrets podcast, where I help you expand your mind and become more self-aware so that you can glow up into the best version of yourself. Happy Monday. How are we doing? I had a full-blown death and rebirth, okay? If you guys remember, I said last week I kind of mildly had a cold, but I was doing fine. I was wrong. I ended up getting so much more sick than I even thought. It was a full-blown head cold, fever. I was dying, okay? So I am just now coming out of this dark hole, and let me tell you, one thing I do know is that I am sick of my shit, okay? And this is what today's episode is going to be about, honestly. I want to talk about toxic habits that we are going to be dropping before summer. Because first of all, summer's like really around the corner. Like, how is it already May? Second week of May, I guess. Second or third? Second. We'll just keep it with second. And I want to do better. I want to do better for myself. I want to do better for you guys. I want you guys to do better for your guys' selves. I just feel like we need to ramp it up. What we are not going to do is waste this beautiful summer that we have amongst us to being lazy, to not living up to our potential. Like, we need to make ourselves proud, okay? And when I was sick, it really did hit me. I came to a lot of realizations, as Kylie Jenner would say, and I just thought about the past 6 months of my life. And while on one hand, I love myself, I show up for myself, I'm not hard on myself, I do the things that I need to do, but are there things that I have been slacking on or doing the bare minimum on? 100%. And when I was sick, I was just thinking about all of these things like, you know what? It's not even that I'm in this energy of, Alicia, you just needed to do more because you've been so lazy and, oh my God, like toxic productivity, you got to get more done, things like that. It's not even that energy. I just genuinely know that I have so much potential that I could just be doing more and being the best version of myself and really showing up for myself. I want to respect my time more. I want to respect myself more. I want to make myself proud. I want to look at the end of this summer, like when the end of the summer comes, I want to look back and say, yeah, I made myself proud. Yep, I showed up for myself. Yep, I didn't waste my summer away. And I feel like there's probably a lot of you guys that can relate. I think naturally we go through ebbs and flows of periods of our life where maybe we're not showing up the best, and there's many reasons why. We don't need to dive into that. We don't need to be mad at ourselves or ruminate on what we haven't done, okay? The past is the past. Let's just focus on the next 6 months, the next summer, whenever you listen to this. I know some of you guys, you're technically going into your winter months, so obviously you can just use this as well, but just for your winter months. But just use this next period of time, new season of your life, to really show up for yourself. And obviously being sick, of course, you naturally are always just wishing you were better because it's like, oh my God, like what I would wish to just be able to wake up with more energy. You never really know what you have until you kind of lose it type of energy. And I just don't want to spend that beautiful time that I have this summer thinking like that or looking back. So we're going to talk about some of the things that I'm going to be dropping, but I think it's really relevant to you guys as well. I think a lot of you guys will really relate to some of the things that I'm going to be talking about. I also asked you guys what toxic habits you guys are going to be dropping, so I'm going to read some of them out. And I just want this to be kind of like a kick in the ass, but also just to know that I am with you guys as well. Understand that the people in this community, our community, are trying to drop habits as well. So this is a collective thing. Even yesterday, okay, I was talking to my best friend, Joey, and she's a content creator too, which is a little bit different if you aren't a content creator. Obviously, we have different lifestyles, but regardless, there's always things that we kind of are like wasting our time with, or we have we have more capacity to show up for ourselves and we kind of don't, whatever. But being a content creator, it really requires you to be very disciplined because nobody's knocking on your door and saying, hey, get this out or do this video or whatever. Now, I have always been very, very, very self-motivated from a young age. My dad instilled a lot of discipline and just respect and like showing up for myself and life and other people for sure when I was younger. So I took that on, of course. I kind of became a tyrant on myself because he was very, very strict. But also, I had to grow up very, very quick. When he passed away, when my mom went through addictions, I had to get my ass up and work, okay? And of course, no matter what type of lifestyle you live or, you know, what was handed to you, we all at some point need to get our asses up and work, okay? We have to get our asses up and discipline ourselves in a way that's healthy, in a way that's loving, which I feel like I do a good job at that now, but I have always been someone for sure that has shown up and done her work, but there's definitely things, especially being a content creator and the life that I have created for myself, where, yeah, I have a lot of extra time now. I have an easier time with work. And I was talking to my friend about this and I was like, dude, I was honestly, sometimes I think that I was more like self-disciplined and I got my ass up and worked more and got so much more done when I was still working my 9 to 5, serving and building my social media like platform. And mind you, I see why, because there was a fire lit under me, right? I was motivated. I really wanted this life and I worked so hard to get it. So it's not to say that I need to live the same life in terms of working as hard as I did. Maybe in different ways, of course I do, but it's not even to say that, but I just look back at the version of me who worked so hard to get the life that she has now. And what I'm going to do is waste my time now. Like, that's a disgrace in my opinion, in the most loving way. Okay. It's kind of a disgrace. And I was telling my friend this and she was kind of saying the same thing because now she's a full-time creator too. And you know, there's no excuse why I can't do those extra steps of my self-care or cook for myself every single day or go to the gym all the time when I've created a lot of time freedom in my life. So I just really wanted to say that because this is what I thought too. Being a content creator, when you kind of level up your life, you start to live your dream life, you have more time freedom, you have more money to do the things that you want, you still need a level of discipline and self-respect for yourself. Because if not, you will kind of get a little bit lazy, you know, you will go off on a whim. And it's not to say that I can't enjoy the luxuries of the life that I have created, but you kind of will like just waste your time sometimes. And I just don't want to do that. And my friend was saying the same thing. Like, obviously, I really do think that I've made my younger self proud, but I just think that my younger self would be looking at me now being like, girl, really, this is how you're going to spend your time? Like, you could be doing more. And not even in the sense of even like work, but why aren't you getting up earlier? Why aren't you doing those extra steps of this, that, and the third? You've created this life. So I say all that to say, even myself and my best friend, like, we're both going through it. We're both like, dude, we need to get on a routine again. Like, we need to act as if we're in a freaking 9 to 5. Like, there's no reason why we need to be sitting around like wasting time and this, that, and just not being really intentional with our time. And even if you're not a content creator and you are busting your ass and you're working, that's amazing. I love that for you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of myself still. But maybe there's certain areas of your life where you know you're kind of slacking. And I honestly think as the spring is here and we're moving into summer, naturally, I just think that we can do more. Like, come on, the sun is out now, okay? We don't have an excuse, okay? We have no excuse. The sun is out more, the days are longer, the weather is nicer. This is the time to capitalize on doing what we came here to do and being the best versions of ourselves, because, like, I don't know. I just think we cried all winter because we just really wanted it to be summer. Now it's summer. What I am not gonna do is waste my summer away in terms of just not living up to my full potential. Okay, so that is my little rant. Let's talk about some of the things that we are going to be dropping. Now, some of you guys might be on your shit, and maybe you guys already do this, and I love this, but If you aren't, then maybe this will just be a little bit of a reminder. And these are definitely all things that I'm going to be actively focusing on this spring and summer. Okay, so the first thing on my list is neglecting the small self-care habits and wellness habits. I feel like this is one of the first things that always falls off for me in my life. And when I mean the small self-care / wellness habits, these are things that if we miss or if we fall off, it's not going to make the biggest difference, but it technically does over time, especially if we want to be the most glowed up, most hot, most healthy version of us. Like it actually does. But on a day-to-day, like I'll give you an example. Vitamins. If I feel like a lot of us, we go through ebbs and flows of like falling off taking vitamins or doing those extra steps of our self-care or self-care mass or things like that, because if we miss it, it's not the end of the world. We're still going to be healthy for the most part. We're not going to, our hair is not going to get like the worst it's ever been if we don't do that deep conditioner mask like once a week. These are just extra things, but I just think that these things are actually still very important. So I'm going to talk about some of the things that I have kind of been slacking on that I want to re-up. So one of them for sure is my deep conditioner masks and hot oil treatments, like those extra hair things that I should be doing once a week because that's what my hair really deserves. But that is something, although I really was consistent with that, especially when I went on my natural hair journey years and years ago, I was very, very consistent. But because that fire is not lit under me, because I don't have a goal necessarily to like get the most natural hair, because my hair is natural and it's grown and it's beautiful, I still know the benefits of doing that for my hair, and I want that to still be a part of my self-care. Now, there's obviously things that I no longer maybe need to do anymore. I don't really know in terms of hair right now. I can't really think of any, but obviously there's things that you just don't need to always take with you in another season of life. But for sure, I should and still like want to be doing these things. So doing those extra steps of that hair routine that you have, obviously we have different ones, but even when it comes to caffeine, okay, this is another thing that it's not actually even neglecting. It's more, well, I guess it is, but it's more doing more of this when I should be actually doing less. Is I go through periods of time where I will drink coffee like first thing in the morning, which that's a habit I'm breaking, but also I will get a second cup of coffee in the middle of the day if for some reason I'm feeling like it. Because I know that it's not going to make that much of a difference to me because coffee doesn't really wire me that much. Like some people get a lot of anxiety and stuff with coffee. I don't really, but it does give me a little bit of a pick-me-up. But I also know that it's not necessarily the best thing for me to do, but I will go through phases of just doing that. And I don't I don't need to be doing that. Not only is it just like it's a waste of money, like you're making coffee at home, but also you're grabbing a second cup. Like we don't need to be doing that. In terms of nutrition and like nourishment for your body, you could be having something else that is not caffeine. It's not needed. Another thing, my upper body days. Where are my upper body days at the gym? Where are my core days at the gym? Why am I not going to the gym Monday to Friday consistently, like a full workout? Now listen, I have been going to the gym. I do at least 2 days weightlifting, and it's usually lower body days. And then I do hot yoga or I do workout classes, and I'm always walking. So like I feel like, again, I'm doing the base level things that I need to be doing for my body. But why is my upper body days and / core days always taking a backseat? I'm always like, oh, okay, well, I'll skip it. Or like, I don't need to do it. I do need to do it. And I should be doing it. And I also have the time to do it. So why am I not doing these things? You know what I mean? I have not taken my daily vitamins. So those are some of the things that I'm really thinking about. Just those small little self-care and wellness habits that I've been neglecting that should not be neglecting. Now, I want to talk about what helps when it comes to not neglecting these self-care habits or wellness and things that like I'll be doing. And one of them for sure is habit stacking and also replacing an old habit with something new. So I'll give you an example. Because sometimes it's hard to just cut out something that you've been so addicted to. Let's say if you're always used to having 2 cups of coffee a day, for you to just go cold turkey and just not have that second cup, like your body's gonna feel it. Maybe like for me, if I don't have caffeine, like my body, like I will literally feel it. But also just the habit, you kind of feel really restricted. And so I like to sometimes either replace or wean myself off. So if, let's say, I was trying to wean myself off of coffee, just if I had 1 cup of coffee in the morning, what I do, instead of just stopping coffee on like Monday morning when I decide, I'm gonna have a smaller cup of coffee. Maybe it's in a smaller glass, or maybe I'm just pouring less, and I'm gonna do less and less and less throughout the week so that I don't get headaches and that I don't get like a withdrawal. And then maybe I'll replace it with something, or I'll just be done. That is like the best way, in my opinion. I've learned how to wean myself off of habits versus just being like, oh, I'm not going to drink coffee at all, or I'm not going to go out with my friends at all, or I'm not going to drink, or if you smoke weed, or like if you do whatever, all these like small little behaviors that maybe in your mind are like not the best, wean yourself off. Like I don't know. I just don't necessarily think it's that needed to stress yourself out too much about it. But what I've been doing is replacing the second cup of coffee when I do want to go and get something with an iced matcha. I've been so into my iced matchas. I said this in last week's recap episode. I've just been super, super loving it to the point where I'm going to try and replace my morning cup with iced matcha. Like I'm getting there. So anyways, just replacing little habit stacking as well. So for instance, like the other day I was thinking, I was on my phone scrolling on something, and I'm sitting here like, why do I not have my deep conditioner in my hair right now if I'm going to scroll? Why don't I have my hot cap on with my hot oil treatment in my hair as I'm doing this? What am I doing? If I'm going to sit and scroll, or if I'm going to sit and talk to my best friend for an hour on FaceTime, amazing. You can do that. Listen, over here, we like to chill. We like to give ourselves like soft life. We're about that. Okay. Not everything needs to be like this hustle and bustle, but let's be a little bit more efficient with our time. If I'm watching a YouTube video, I'm going to watch that YouTube video now in my washroom as I'm doing my self-care, my 10-step goddamn self-care routine, or my mask, or my LED light, or my freaking hair mask, like I just said. So just really thinking about how you can squeeze in some of these small little steps. And also, when it comes to habit stacking, there's other things that you can do. Like, let's say every single morning you do something that is routine, that you already do. So like make your bed. So if you want to start adding in a new habit of taking your vitamins every day, but you don't usually take your vitamins, make it a habit that every single time you are done making your bed, the next step you're going to take is those vitamins. You're not going to do anything other than that. Or let's say you don't make your bed, but you always make coffee in the morning. When your coffee is brewing, as it is brewing, go make your bed. Or as it is brewing, go brush your teeth, or whatever. I don't know. I don't really brush my teeth before coffee, but you know what I mean. Things like that, just finding ways that you can kind of add in these habits will be helpful. But also another thing is sometimes we forget to do these small self-care habits or wellness habits because maybe if it's an item, skincare, hair, vitamins, water, whatever, these things are not predominantly in front of us. So take out your vitamins and put them on your counter. Take your deep conditioner mask and put it in front of you, like in the washroom. Like pull out these things so you can actually see, make a list, like keep it in front of you, because if not, you're obviously going to forget about these things because these are not the most important things in your life. But if you want to make them important, you have to kind of see them more often. Okay, another thing that we need to drop is being lazy, like genuinely just being lazy. Now, this kind of leads into the neglecting the self-care habits. Now, I think a lot of those things are just because it's not necessary. Obviously, these are not on the top priority list. We have a million things we have to juggle in our lives, whether it's school, work, health, relationships, all that kind of stuff. So it does get pushed on the back burner. But, you know, and some of you guys did say this when you guys submitted, being lazy, it creeps up on you. And listen, I've been looking at some of my habits and thinking and reflecting and being like, damn girl, you be a little bit too lazy. For what? You are making too many damn excuses for yourself. So what I have here is like, there's a few things, and it obviously depends on your lifestyle, but for me, like, not picking up my stuff after I've done something. The way that I leave my place a mess, and not disgusting mess, but just like everything out of place for no reason. Why don't I take 1 minute out of my time to put things back before I'm going on to the next thing? Like, enough with that. Again, even when it comes to like scrolling on social media, things like that, which we're going to talk about. Why am I not doing my hair care while I'm doing that, if I'm wanting to do that? Another big thing for me personally is I've been seeing that I've been a little lazy when it comes to my work. So specifically when it comes to editing, this is what I've been doing like lately, and it depends on the season of my life. It depends on the week of my life, to be honest, when it comes to recording and stuff. So I'm not super hard on myself, but obviously things can slip. But lately what I've been doing is I'm not editing every single day. I will edit a video in one continuous chunk, which on one hand is not the worst thing. A lot of people edit like that, but for me, especially when it comes to my main channel YouTube videos, because I don't even edit my podcast anymore. I have an editor, but for my main channel, I vlog. So usually it's like a day or two or three or four, depending. I can every single day touch my video and edit a little bit every single day. So by the end of the week, I will have the whole video basically done, and I don't have to sit there for 8 hours or however long and edit it. Like, why don't I carve out an hour every single day to edit my video? I have enough time. I'm making excuses and being like, oh, like, it's just excuses, laziness. It's not needed. I think when we talk about social media, and for me, I've just realized, dude, I actually have way more time than I think. It's actually a lot of times to do with my excuses, but also social media addiction is just ridiculous, and we actually just have so much more time. So that's what I'm going to be doing specifically, is getting on top of my work stuff. But also, when I leave everything to the last minute, the quality of my editing or the quality of my work sometimes will lack because I'm overwhelmed and I have so much to do that I obviously do the bare minimum. So you can even think about this when it comes to school or even work. I know you have different projects that you work on. Like, I remember when I was a health and wellness coordinator at a tech company, I showed up every single day. There was definitely work that I had to like work on every single day that I could have. Well, I was pretty good at that, but like, yeah, there's just things that you can always kind of get ahead of or get on top of to make it less overwhelming when you do it. And yes, could you study all in one day or do your essay all in one day? Yeah, you could do that, but is that quality of the essay going to be that good? Because for me, when I give myself a little bit more time to work on a video or a little bit more time to think about a topic, now sometimes, especially for the podcast, a gem is a gem. And when it's potent, I go and talk about it. I don't need to sit on it and overthink it. But with a lot of other things, if I give myself a few days to think about it, sometimes I have more insights. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I should add this in. Like, sometimes it's good to give yourself some time to work on these projects. So I just think that we miss a lot of opportunity to have something that's really beautiful and our best work because we leave shit to the last minute. And I'm not trying to do that anymore. Now, this leads me into the next thing, which is not being on a schedule, and specifically for me, like sleeping whenever I want, like waking up whenever I want. And I think that this will really help when it comes to being lazy or even excuses, because I just think I can have more time to get more things done in my day if I actually get on a routine. Now, the reason why I haven't really been that strict on myself with these things is because naturally I do wake up pretty early. Naturally, I go to bed around like 10ish type of thing. I do get my work done. Like, I get things done, but I'm starting to realize, like, dude, if I had like a Monday, personally, if I had a Monday to Friday schedule where I'm waking up at the same time every single morning, especially now that the sun is out earlier, I just want to capitalize on that time. Like I can get so much more done in my day if I wake up at a certain time versus just sleeping into kind of like whenever. Again, I wake up pretty early, but to have that set time, to show up every single day at a certain time, to have an on and an off time, personally for me, I really do think that helps with productivity. It helps, knowing that, okay, at this time, I need to get this assignment done, or I need to get this video done, or I need to get X, Y, and Z. Because if you don't have these things, if you don't have structure, you're gonna leave things until the last minute. Or I even think about this when it comes to cleaning. You could be like, oh, I'm gonna do my Sunday reset and I'm just gonna clean today. Okay, what I will do is I'll spend the whole day like diddle dallying, and in between cleaning, I'm on my phone or this, that, when really, if I told myself, okay, Sunday's my reset day, I'm going to give myself an hour to clean, an hour to do this, and an hour to do that, I will get that shit done in an hour. But if I don't have that, and I just say, oh, like today is going to be my Sunday reset and it's going to be a cleaning day, I'll spend the entire day doing the same thing that I could have done in an hour. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, it's just not necessary. And I think even for me, like, I want to have a good work-life balance. And I feel, because I work for myself, because I don't have that shut-off time, I feel like I've never gotten enough done. I feel like there's always something to do and I'm not actually productive at all. And I don't like that. So I'm going to be going on a like schedule personally for me when it comes to my sleep and when it comes to my work, like my work week. So I'm going to be doing Monday to Friday. And this is what I was telling my friend, the Joy, that's a content creator as well. And she was saying the same thing. She's like, oh my God, I'm so glad that you're saying this because I feel like I've been going through this as well. Like, why am I not getting up at a certain time? Like, I could be doing more and I'm still not sticking to a routine, blah, blah, blah. So whatever lifestyle that you have, maybe tweaking that routine a little bit. Maybe you're spending a little bit more time at nighttime just diddle-dallying and scrolling on your phone and not having that shut-off time or waking up at a certain time. And again, we don't need to be tyrants on ourselves. We don't need to be so strict. Obviously, you don't want to strip away every type of joy. You want to give yourself some time. But for me, I know what schedule I can live up to and what I can work towards. And that's what I'm going to be doing. And then on the weekends, I'm going to kind of give myself a little bit of flexibility. And I just think also just for my work schedule, I want to spend more time throughout the week recording, especially for my YouTube channel, because of the type of content that I'm going to be recording this spring and summer versus like working on the weekends and editing on the weekends. Like, I just keep leaving shit to the weekends and I just feel like everything is crammed in and I'm not getting enough done or I'm overwhelmed and it's just not needed. Like, I've been thinking, oh my God, I just not enjoying the way that my time is spent, but I'm looking in the mirror being like, Alicia, you're doing this to yourself. Like, you are doing, the reason why you're feeling like this is because you don't have a routine, is because you don't have those healthy boundaries, is because you won't put your fucking phone down and start reading your book at 9 p.m. instead of 10 p.m. and then you're getting to sleep late and then you know what I mean? So getting on a routine and a structured whatever the hell it looks like for you is very important for this spring and summer. And I think that with spring and summer, that's where we kind of lose it, right? Because it's summer, it's fun and this, that. But for me personally, again, I want to look back this summer and be like, I fucking killed it. I killed it this summer. I had a great summer. I felt like everything was deserving when I did go out and have a good time and I took care of myself. Like, that's how I want to feel on a week to week basis. I want to look at the end of the week and be like, damn, I did so much this week and I'm going to enjoy it this weekend, or I'm going to enjoy it this night, or I'm going to whatever. Like, I want to feel like that. And I think that sometimes, again, like, when you think about your dream life and when you think about having time freedom, whether you have it yet or not really, like whether you're living a lifestyle like me or not, I think sometimes it's like cool. The idea is cool to like be able to do whatever you want, whenever you want, but it's not rewarding when you do nothing all day. And I'm not to say that I don't do anything, because I actually do a lot, but still, like, it's funny because my friend and I were being like, do we just go back to 9 to 5s at this point? Because why do I feel kind of better with a 9 to 5 type of structure than I do with this right now? I don't want to go back to 9 to 5. And I think that I've worked really hard to get the lifestyle that I have. But I'm just saying, as being an influencer, working for yourself, you still got to have some structure. And I just think that it is really rewarding. It's just really rewarding to look like at the end of your week and be like, oh my God, like I woke up every single day at this time. I did my workouts. I was on my shit. I took care of myself. And now I can enjoy the time spent and I can enjoy this summer. This is going to be a great summer. And I think it's just going to be better knowing that you've kind of showed up for yourself. Okay, let's talk about the beast, which is social media consumption. We all struggle with this, okay, on some level. And I think that this is the biggest thing that we really need to nip in the butt, whatever. Okay. We need to, enough. We seriously need to get on top of this nasty habit, because what we are not going to do this spring and summer is waste our goddamn days scrolling, checking, waiting. What are we doing? Enough. Oh my freaking God. Okay, listen. So I'm going to explain kind of like what like my type of current relationship with social media is. And I think I've done a very good job also considering I am a content creator at this. I am a long form content girly, which I think we are elites. Hello. Which is everyone who's watching this or listening to this audio or who watches YouTube. I think we're elite. I genuinely think we're elite because I think we have longer attention spans than the average human being who only likes to go on TikTok, okay? And listen, some of you guys still might like to go on TikTok, that's fine. But I think that if you, the majority of the times, can put your energy into at least watching long form, I actually think it's just like a healthier way of consuming content if you are going to consume it. Because I just think that it keeps you on a topic for longer. It doesn't mess up your attention span so rapidly. Usually when you're watching a long form thing, you tend to be doing something. Like for me, if I'm listening to a podcast, I'm usually on a walk, or I'm usually like when I used to drive all the time, I'm cleaning. There's not that many times where I'm sitting down and watching and just like staring. Sometimes I do if I'm like sitting in my bed and I'm about to like go to sleep or something like that. But regardless, so I don't completely demonize. Okay. So let me just say that. So that's what I usually do when it comes to consuming. I'm actually really good at not consuming short form content, which I think that makes me feel the absolute most shit. And I think that that's what a lot of people are talking about when they say I'm doom scrolling, or like I have this really bad addiction to social media, because I just know the feeling. Like it feels like shit to go on TikTok and scroll, and then afterwards you're like, what did I just consume? I don't remember anything that I consumed, but I feel worse than I did when I went on there. And I don't tend to feel that when I'm watching a YouTube video, even if it's a vlog and I'm sitting there, or a podcast. Like I don't usually feel like shit. I actually usually feel better, and it's just a part of my routine. So this is what I think about short form content. For the most part, and we're not talking about the days where we just let ourselves scroll. Sure, you can have your day to do that. I don't even really honestly let myself do that unless I want to like laugh at something. And I did that a little bit in the winter time. I would do that, but whatever. Understand that it's genuinely a waste of time to consume short form content on a daily basis, I personally think. So if you can switch from short form to long form, I would highly suggest that, because ask yourself, what did you actually learn from all of that? Maybe there's a few things, but thinking about also like the videos you like or the things that you save. How many times have you gone back and actually made that recipe, or you've actually like bought that thing that, oh, this is a good product that I need to get or whatever, or just even used any of the tips that person was telling you? And that's why I kind of moved off of short form content a lot when it came to podcasts and even YouTube, because I was like, dude, like the way that I learn is long form. Anyways, I know people learn short form, so I'm not going to bag on it too much, because I get it. People have short attention spans, and I know that you do learn some stuff from it. I do still create some short form content. I get it. It's fun. Like, in small doses, but in small doses, it shouldn't be a daily thing. I don't think. If you're going to consume content, I don't think it should be a daily thing for short form, in my personal opinion. Okay. So there's that. But so there's that for me. That's what I kind of do, long form versus short form. And I think something that's been a struggle for me though is just the checking like notifications and just going on as just a habit. So it's just the habit for me that I actually find waste so much time in my day. Like I'm not actually even consuming that much content, but it's the mere fact of me opening Instagram 100 million times throughout the day, or my comments like 100 million times throughout the day, that is just ridiculous. So there's a few things that I have been doing that's been helpful, and obviously it just depends on your kind of relationship towards social media, but maybe this will help. So for one, what I've been doing is putting my phone on DND, and I know that it's not that easy to do for everyone, even for me, because like I have my manager that might text me or emails that I'm checking. But at the end of the day, we don't really need our notifications on all the time. And I'm saying that because the moment you keep your notifications on, where like anyone can hit you up at any time, and as soon as your phone goes off, basically if it's around you, you're going to see it. You're just naturally getting interrupted throughout your day. That's not necessary. Like half the things that I respond to when my phone is not on D&D does not need to be responded to right away. It really doesn't. But I do it naturally because it's there. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, the notification is there, so I might as well respond now. Or I might as well respond to a DM now if I'm on there. So D&D. But a second thing, and I've done this forever, and I've had to because I've had obviously a lot of notifications, is I turn all of my notifications off for every single social media app. So TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, everything. There is not a single notification that actually pops up on my phone unless I go into the app, and then that's when I see my likes or my DMs. So that is another thing that's really, really helped me. Another thing that I'm going to be doing more though, because that helps, but also I still have the act of continuously like checking, is using screen time. And using screen time, I don't know if Androids have this or if it's just iPhones. I'm sure Androids have something. I have an iPhone, but you can go in and you can set a screen time for all of your apps where it basically locks you out after an hour. Now, you're going to do this and then you're going to continue to hit ignore limit, but I want you to stay consistent with keeping that limit on to show yourself just how much you are addicted to the apps. Like it's actually wild. When I set my limits to maybe like 1 hour, it was very clear just how much I was addicted to certain apps, and like, wow, I can't even. So anyways, using screen time to limit your social media is really good, because now I'm getting to the point where it's like, okay, in my head, I know that I only have, let's say, 1 hour total of Instagram to be able to consume. So I'm going to leave it till the end of the day, or I'm going to leave it to a time where it's actually worth it. Like you will eventually change this habit, but it's going to take some time. And I just feel like sometimes we forget that, and then we're like, oh, it just doesn't work for me, so then I'm just going to keep going on. And I think also having a structured day for me personally is helpful, because it's like, okay, well, obviously to completely get off of your apps, for me personally, it's not going to happen. But because I know there's a start and there's an end time of what I'm doing for work, I'm going to leave my social media consumption until a certain time. Now, something that I'm actually going to be trying, because I'm a content creator and I post a lot, especially on my stories. I post a lot on my stories. I still want to keep up with you guys. I still love to post. Like I still love the DMs and everything, but I'm going to have set times where I'm posting. So I'm going to take regular photos of my day, and then I'm going to go into the app and I'm going to just post all of them so that you guys can see everything. So that way it allows me to stop the habit of constantly checking, because what I do is when I open the app to post, naturally I see a notification, naturally I see somebody DM me, and then it keeps me on there all the time and I'm constantly checking. So that's going to be something that I'm going to be doing. Same with like comment sections and things like that. Like I'm going to be having set times throughout the day, not even throughout the day, but like every day, I guess, where I'm going to be checking these things versus just doing it whenever. Because again, if you don't have healthy boundaries, if you don't say, okay, at 5 p.m. I'm going to be done work, or 5 p.m. that's when I'm going to be checking, or whatever, you're just going to do it whenever, because no one's really telling you not to do that thing. Also, I found something on the iPhone where it is like a screen distance thing, which I felt was helpful when I actually had a really bad head cold, because actually I was really off my phone and it was so amazing. I feel like my mental health was so freaking good because I was barely on my phone because I couldn't even look at a screen. So all I was doing, I have this like little mini, it's not an iPad, but it's like an Android thing where I play white noise when I go to sleep, and so it's off my phone, so I don't have to use my phone. But I was watching a bunch of long form like YouTube videos and completely off of my phone, and it was like dim light. And oh my God, I just felt so good just not checking a million times on Instagram and just not watching people's lives. And so with that, I found this little thing. It's called Screen Time. You can go in your settings and probably find it. And it basically measures the distance of how far you're holding your phone to your face, and it will pop up like a thing and say like you're holding your phone too close and to move it back. And I feel like just the notification of doing that allows me to kind of distance myself from my phone and like subconsciously remind myself that like get away from your phone in a way. It's weird, but it's actually cool. So I don't know, you can try that. But overall, obviously just thinking about the type of relationship that you have, I also just think the mere fact of reminding yourself that what do you get from watching people's lives and stories all the time? And I even think about that myself too. Like sometimes when I'm clicking people's stories, it's just because it's mindless, but I'm like, dude, I don't need to be looking at this person's life. It doesn't matter. I'm so sorry. Like, I love you. You're amazing, but I don't need to be knowing what you're doing in your day. How is that relevant to me? I should be the most important thing in the most like non-narcissistic way, whatever. I don't even care if it comes across as that, but I should be the most important thing. I should be caring more about my life than somebody else's. Why am I stopping through the day to go check up on somebody else's life that's like posting random shit? It's really irrelevant. Now, if you are consuming people's content, because I get it, you like to, consume a few people's content, just consume a few people's content. Like make it the forefront, like favorite their thing or mute everyone else, and only consume the people who really are reminding you of what you should be doing. So that's what I do actually on YouTube. So the YouTube videos that I watch are YouTube videos that are like healthy girl routines and like cleaning routines and like all that kind of stuff. Like kind of content, not really content that I post if it has anything to do with self-development or mindset stuff. But whatever it is, I always make sure to only consume content that reminds me of what I should be doing in my daily life. I'm not watching people, for the most part, I really am not watching people who are doing things that have nothing to do with my life, just random people doing their daily, like I use, if I'm going to consume content as motivation, and that allows me to actually get up. And there is definitely room for motivational content. Like I totally know the difference of my actions when I'm watching people who, okay, let's say social commentary videos. I love those. Those are good videos that I like to watch when I'm like eating, or if it's like I'm done my work for the day and I'll just like chill. But after watching a social commentary video, I'm not like motivated to go clean or clutter my place or take care of myself or go to sleep at a good time. But if I'm watching a healthy 6 a.m. routine, I'm like, damn, I'm fucking motivated now. Like I gotta get my ass to bed. That's what I'm watching if I'm consuming content. So just be aware of, if you're consuming content, what are you consuming? Make it motivational, make it like relevant to you, and everything else is so irrelevant, I promise you. Okay, the last toxic habit that we are dropping before I read your guys' ones, which I relate to some of them as well. But the last thing is not respecting our money. Okay? I feel like this is another thing where we got to check ourselves. We got to check ourselves. It be the way you fucking act. Sorry for swearing. I'm not sorry for swearing, but like I have to say that because I feel like sometimes they're like, I get some comments being like, dude, I get some comments sometimes, people just being like, can you not, as if it's not my own podcast. You know what I mean? I don't know. And again, I'm trying to respect everyone who listens to this podcast because there's so many people, but it's just like, sometimes people need to understand that the content creator is also their own person, and if they swear, they swear. So anyways, sorry, not sorry. We need to respect our money. Okay. This is something that I've gotten very good at for sure. I am so proud of myself. And I say this, and this is, you know what, I'm going to have a little rant about being proud of yourself, but I'm very, very proud of myself for, you know, like all of the crappy toxic habits that I used to do when it comes to spending. I'm definitely better with my money. I definitely think about things before I buy them, you know, but we slip up sometimes, okay? We go into those little like lazy girl, like for me, this is one thing I'll call myself out. Like Uber Eats. Uber Eats. Stop. Like just stop. Like there's not a reason. There's no reason why. If you want to eat out, go and get your ass up, walk downstairs, go outside, hot girl walk, go get your food if you really want something from Uber Eats. There is no reason other than if you are sick or, you know, maybe it's just like something fun to be using Uber Eats, honestly. Sorry guys, my camera heated up, so I kind of forget where I left off, but Uber Eats, we don't need to be doing it. I just think that I for sure have been wasting, just not even wasting, but just not respect. I don't know. I just feel like it's not a good use of my money. And I like to think about things this way. What is my return on investment? Okay. You don't always have to be a stickler when it comes to spending money, obviously. And it depends. It depends on like how much you can have to spend and this, that. Budgeting is great. And like knowing how much money you can spend on certain things is great. But like, I don't know, like even though I can spend money on Uber Eats, I feel like it's not the best return on my investment. I can go walk and grab food. I don't need to do these things. Like also, if I want something that is not necessarily, you know, of my normal food routine, I can go to the grocery store and make food and even make some content out of it, but also just make it a whole vibe, like make it a whole thing. So just thinking about the ways that you spend your money and asking yourself, how can I respect my money more? I think that we slip up sometimes with that. And I think even when it comes to, I don't do this anymore, but I do think about when I was in college. I just think that I didn't respect my money when it came to going out and drinking every weekend or going shopping to buy outfits to go drinking every weekend. Like I spent so much money on that kind of stuff where was it really the best return on my investment? No. And does it always have to be? No. But I could have respected my money more by saving it, you know, or again, just not spending it on things. So that's going to be definitely something that I do more, like cutting out the Uber Eats. Also, what else do I have? I'm just obviously even asking myself in the moment, do I really need this thing? Will I live without it? And I do this when I feel like I really want to impulse buy something and I'm like, so like I like hyper fixate on this thing that I need and like, oh my God, yes, it's going to change my life and I need this right now, da da da. And I sit here for a second and I'm just like, okay, but like in a week, will I be okay if I don't get it? Or if I do get it, how much will it really change my life? Like, do I really need it? And do I really even need it right this second? This is another thing. Like, you know, have a monthly budget. Create a little savings account where you can buy the things that you want, but give yourself like a month time before you decide to go off on a whim and buy shit, which is another thing. Just like buying things off on a whim. Like, it's just, I think that we can do a better job at respecting our money. So something I'm definitely also going to be doing is just making sure that every single month I'm sitting down and I'm doing all of my finances, my bookkeeping, everything. And I think that there was one toxic habit about money, so maybe I'll talk about that. But yeah, just really being more responsible and just respecting. Just think about the word respect. Respect your time, respect your money, respect your boundaries, respect your body, respect your mind, respect everything. I want this summer to be about respecting ourselves. It's not about we have to push ourselves to do 100 million other things because we have to, and we have to discipline ourselves so hard because we are just like shit people and this, that. It's not that, okay? Let's respect ourselves because we deserve it. So let me read out some of your guys' habits that you guys, I basically just asked what are some toxic habits that you guys want to drop before summer. I'm going to read them out. I'm not going to give advice for every single one because we'd actually be here for another hour, but I just want to read them out just so you guys feel a little bit seen, and maybe I will give a commentary on a few of them, but just so you guys know. And honestly, I relate to a lot of them. So a lot of you guys said laziness, negative self-talk, being reckless with money, calorie counting and over exercising, binge eating, which if you really struggle with binge eating, I would highly suggest you get my book, The Ultimate Glow Up Guide, which will be linked down below, because I talk about how I got out of binge eating cycles and self-sabotaging cycles. So that's definitely a book for that. Someone said hating on my body and I'm overweight but don't allow myself to dress cute. Like, girl, this is not the summer to not dress cute. I do not give a F. Okay, what your body is looking like this summer, you are going to dress cute. Okay, please dress cute this summer. Please let yourself live. We are not just living until we get that body. And I get it. I understand that. Saying that from somebody who right now in her life is very happy with her body. But I have gone through many, many cycles, and I talk about this in my book, of this waiting for my perfect body energy. You got to accept it first. You can still work on your body. You can still do all the things that you need to do, but allow yourself to live. You can dress so cute, okay? Someone said, spending money and going out just to please my friends. Yeah, that's another example of you not respecting yourself, your time, but also your money, right? Like spending money and going out just to please other people. At the end of the day, you got to come back to that bank account, baby, and they do not. So do not be wasting your time and your money on people or doing things that you literally don't even want to do. Someone said morning time laziness. I think something that's actually helping me, and I'll actually be showing it in my weekly vlog, which you guys will see next, or you guys will see on Sunday. If you are watching this on Monday, you'll see it on Sunday. That what I've been doing is in the mornings, like the kind of like rule that I have for myself, especially like for the Monday to Friday, is when you wake up, get out of bed. Like get up out of bed. Like do not touch your phone, do not scroll, do not anything until you are out of your bed. I don't even care if you want to go scroll while you're making your coffee or something. I don't care. But the first thing that you're going to do is just get out, like start moving. For me personally, what I find is the best for me is getting out of bed and instantly going on a walk in the morning. So that's what I'm going to be doing, but we're done with the morning laziness. Someone said too much screen time. We addressed that. I'll just start tomorrow thoughts. We know that doesn't work. We know that consistency is most important than you being perfect. Not every single day is going to be the same, obviously, but how many times in a week are you showing up is the most important thing. So, if you've fallen down, get back up. Have the mindset of you are somebody who gets up the moment you can. You're not waiting 3 extra days until you can get back up when you can get back up the next day. We don't need to do it. It's not needed. And I think what helps with that is not looking at what you did previously as you ruined something or you messed up in the first place. You didn't, you're fine, get back up. Someone said using alcohol to mask social anxiety instead of addressing it in a healthy way. Yeah, like we could go into a whole episode of that and like confidence and stuff, but I think when it comes to if you find yourself using substances to be able to actually go into something and do something, whether it be around a certain person or be in a relationship or, go out to social events, I would make the rule of you're not going to engage in those social events or engage with these people until you're able to do these things without using the substance. So that might look like setting some boundaries and not being around these people, places, or things until you understand why you need these things in the first place, and to obviously slowly work your way up to actually doing these things. But just removing yourself from these people, places, and things sometimes can be helpful. Like, okay, well, you know what? I can't socialize unless I drink. So right now in my life, I'm not going to go into these social situations because this isn't serving me anyways. And the only way that I can do this is if I'm drinking. It doesn't make any sense. Now, taking inventory of like, okay, well, is it the people that you're around? Why do you feel like you have to drink? Is it like, there's a whole thing. So we can go into that, but yeah, definitely work on that. Maybe that could be your goal. Someone said eating my feelings. Again, I address that in my book. Someone said smoking. Okay, actually, I want to talk about this. So when it comes to consumption, drinking, smoking, even consuming maybe foods outside of your quote unquote diet or reality TV shows, things that are kind of not necessarily like the most healthy if we continue to do them. I personally am like a very balanced person. So, I'm not saying that I don't think we need to always cut everything out if that's not what we want. But I don't know when I talked about this. Maybe I talked about this in one of my YouTube videos, but I talk about this thing called planned consumption. So if you want to consume something, plan it out. So instead of just, I'm going to smoke whenever because I can just let myself smoke every single day, or, go out with my friends for happy hour every single day or whatever, plan it. Friday night's going to be my night where I have a wine down, I have a glass of wine, I have some reality TV show, whatever the case. Or on the weekends, Saturday nights are going to be my nights where I go out with my girlfriends. This, that, and the third. Make it planned versus just whenever the hell you want, I think has really helped me. And then you also kind of look forward to it. Okay, someone said looking at muted stories. Ain't that some self-sabotage right there? That is so funny. And I'm only saying that as funny because, like, obviously I feel like we've all done this at one point, maybe. I don't know. I remember when I used to do this. I don't do this anymore. I honestly don't even mute stories because it's like, just unfollow. Like, honestly, like that's what I think. But I get it because there's some people who, well, I guess it depends on what you're doing. I think this in the context of guys though. That's what I'm thinking. So maybe it's not. But I remember when I used to like mute someone's stories, but it was usually like a guy, but I would still go back and like look at them. Please, just enough. I don't even know what else to say other than we can't be wasting our time watching other people's. It comes back to like, it's either you or them. It's either you or them. You are really going to tell me that you're going to sit throughout your day, you're going to go out of your way to go type in somebody's name that you muted to go look at their stuff. Who gives an F? Who gives an F about what they're doing? I promise you, they're not doing anything that you need to know about. Not a single thing. And quite frankly, if you've muted their stories for a reason, you're probably trying to avoid them or trying to avoid triggering yourself. So stop doing it. Okay? You will not be triggered, or they'll be irrelevant if you make them. Okay? So yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. Someone said going to bed late, being stressed about finances. Side note about being stressed about finances. Do you really think that stressing about finances is going to make your financial situation better? The answer is no. Trust me, I've been there. So just a reminder, anytime that you're stressing, it's not going to make it better. It is not going to make it better. It is not going to make it better. I would suggest you go and watch some of my financial videos on YouTube for the podcast. Sorry, I kind of like my brain was not connecting there. Just type it in, and I've talked about this before because I've been there. I'm saying this like very quick advice, but I get that. Like I understand that like finances are definitely a stressor, but it's not gonna help. Someone said doom scrolling right when waking up and right before going to bed. Replace it with something else. If you want to doom scroll, but what you're not going to do is do that first thing in the morning, and what you're not going to do is do that like the last thing before you go to sleep. So get a book, take your phone, like use the time that you're on your phone outside of your bed, like coming back to the getting up out of your bed before you even touch your phone, things like that. Like replace the habit. We're not doing that. Someone said avoiding checking your bank account. One thing you're not going to do is avoid checking your bank account anymore. What you are not going to do is that, you know why? Because you're creating more stress for yourself by avoiding the situation. I know this. Please. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You need to have this mindset in your mind. You can handle whatever you see. You can handle your finances. You are somebody who can handle their finances. You are somebody who is responsible. You are somebody who sits down and makes a budget and can figure it out. I promise you that you avoiding your bank account anxiety is 10 times worse just because you're avoiding it. This is not to mean that when you look at it, you won't be scared or you won't be a little bit anxious, but that anxiety will lessen over time when you start to be consistent with checking your bank account and seeing where you spend your money. This is not the summer where we're going to go broke. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. Someone said comparing myself to people on social media. Yeah, you're not doing that either. That's not happening. Talking to men whenever I feel insecure about myself. what's on the return on the investment? It's short term gain, babe. We know this. You're going to feel good for 3 seconds. And then what happens when that guy ends up probably not giving you the attention that you want, or you realize this is not the guy that you want attention from, or that it's just fleeting. So you really sometimes have to think about the consequences of your actions before you do it, more than actually just doing it on a whim, because that's what helps me in the times that well, actually, that's what helped me for sure when I used to do that kind of stuff, is I would remind myself before I did it, how am I going to feel when I don't get that text back, or when this is no longer making me feel good? Because it's going to feel good for like a second, but then it's not. Same thing when it comes to like binge eating. And I know binge eating is way deeper than just even thinking like this. And I talk about it in my book. So like understand that what I'm saying is not as easy said than done, but just thinking about, oh, like I really want to indulge in this food. Okay, well, you're going to feel good for an hour. And then how are you going to feel for the rest of the entire day? Think about the rest of the entire day. Think about your stomach. Think about your mindset. Think about the way you're going to view yourself. Think about the habits that are going to follow because you're going to go into this spiral. Think about every single thing that you're going to feel after you do that. It's not going to be worth it. So I know it's not as easy as thinking about those things in the moment, because you tend to do things out of a trigger, out of a place of just not even thinking. But there's definitely some times where you can kind of think about those things. And I think even when it comes to like texting, like think about it. Like before you text that person, how are you going to feel afterwards? How are you going to feel tonight when you go to sleep? How are you going to feel tomorrow when you wake up? Someone said, never knowing what I want and feeling incapable of being successful. Well, if you continue to tell yourself that you're going to be incapable of being successful, you won't be successful. So, like, if you're struggling with being successful in your life, what are you telling yourself about if you can? You have to tell yourself that you can. I don't care if you believe it or not. You're going to be successful. What are you going to do? Obviously, you're going to be successful. You're going to show up. You're going to get it done. You're going to find the job. You're going to get the money. You're going to get the whatever you're going to get. We know this. Like, let's remember our truth. We know this is going to happen. So what is the point on having these thoughts? This is what I was thinking the other day. When you need to become the observer of these thoughts, okay? What you guys do so much, and I've been a victim of doing this as well, and I have to remind myself of this. So when I say you guys, it's me as well, but I'm speaking to you guys. What you guys do is you have these thoughts, right? These negative thoughts, and you forget that they're honestly just little dark clouds sometimes in the sky, and that you can let them pass. But what you do is you completely attach your entire identity to this cloud, and you let this cloud bring you on a freaking world tour and allow you to spiral. And you allow this cloud, meaning your negative self-talk, your doubts, shit that's not true about you, you let that determine your worth. You let that make you like decide who you are in your life. And you don't have to do a single thing. You need to detach from that cloud. When you have a doubt, when you have something that's not serving you, we know by now it is not our truth. Enough with the stressing, enough with the second guessing, the comparing. It's all bullshit. We know that. So when we see or feel or hear or observe these negative thoughts, because they come, especially if you're trying to reprogram your mind, it comes. They get less and less, but they're still sometimes there. What you need to do is understand it's just a cloud. Detach yourself from it. Stop making that a part of your identity. It's not your identity. And let it pass. Let it pass. And it's going to take some time, because what you're going to do is you're going to realize that you've spiraled into that cloud. You're not even going to realize that you're in that cloud until you're goddamn in it, and you have to freaking pull yourself back out. But understand you have the control to let the cloud pass. Become the observer. Just observe it. Oh my God, wow. That's a rude thought. That's an irrelevant thought. That's a thought that doesn't serve me. I choose to respect my time. I choose to respect myself and my truth. And what I'm not going to do is go in that spiral. I'm good. I'm good on that. Okay, so when you have those doubts, that shitty, like a negative self-concept that keeps coming back up, let it pass. Stop attaching yourself to everything. Stop attaching yourself to people who are not serving you. Stop ruminating in what someone said over here that's not favorable to you. And I even think about this when it comes to like negative comments on social media. I have a choice every single time I get something that is not favorable. I can sit there and I can dwell in it and I can fall into it and I can spiral about it and I can just second guess, or I can observe it for what it is, which is nothing to do with me, and continue on with my life. It's my choice. Anyways, that was a little bit of a rant. Someone else said, eating too much processed foods because I'm too lazy to cook something. Listen, you need to create 1 hour out of your day to cook something for yourself. And I'm saying this to myself, honestly, because this is ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. You can find time in your day to make food. And I know this because like the way that I make everything so much more difficult than need be, when realistically, what it takes for me to make, let's say, a processed meal is honestly like not as much shorter of time than it would to just make like a healthier meal. Like sometimes when I'm like, and I even think about this when it comes to, oh my God, okay, I think about this when it comes to Uber Eats, or even if I'm going out to like go eat something, which I do a pretty good job at eating at home, so I don't really have too much of this issue. But when it comes to Uber Eats, like, okay, because this is sometimes what we do. Oh, well, I don't want to cook. Like, I don't want to clean. I don't want to cook. I don't want to whatever. And I'm just going to order food. Okay. Because like, it just takes too much time or something. But actually, it would take you less time to cook a damn meal at home than it would to find what it is that you actually want from Uber Eats, for you to put in the order, for you to wait for the order, for you to have to go downstairs or get out of your bed to go do it and then eat it. Like, you could have made a whole meal in that time. So enough with that. And thinking about some of your toxic habits probably that you have throughout the week, you have enough time to make food, and that's that. And if you have to wake up 10 extra minutes early so you can make breakfast instead of going to Tim Hortons every single morning to get a bagel that's not even good for you, you need to do it. Like, what are we doing? Someone says, always thinking someone else knows the answer. I definitely need to make an episode about this because this has definitely been my struggle in my life. For sure. But this is what I'm going to say. Use this as the cloud situation, because you are very obviously aware that you tend to think that everyone else knows the answer when you clearly know that not everyone knows. Like, nobody knows what the fuck's going on, by the way. Like, even me, I'm speaking out of experience and this, that, but at the end of the day, it's like, it's your life. You have to decide what goes. Understand that until the day you pass over, okay? You will know. You can get guidance, you can get inspiration, you can get motivation, but at the end of the day, stop putting people on pedestals. Stop putting people on this like godlike, I don't know, stage, like, oh my God, they do it the right way, or like they know. They don't. Decide. Please decide. And then someone also said skipping self-care. So listen, we have a lot of toxic habits that we need to break. One thing I just want to remind yourselves, remind you guys of, and remind myself of, is at the end of the day, what we are not going to drop is self-love. Okay? Loving ourselves through the process of dropping habits, loving ourselves through the process of evolution and growth and changing and, being grateful for ourselves, like all of it, every single thing. We need to love ourselves through this. This is not a time for us to be tyrants, to hate ourselves, to ruminate on the things that we're not doing, to continue to ruminate on things if we don't show up 100%. This is just a kick in the ass that we need. But at the end of the day, we need to love ourselves through the process, and we need to be proud of ourselves. Okay? Be proud of yourself for whatever you have done. I don't give an F if you haven't even done much. Okay? That is something that I have been even forgetting. As much as, yes, I have been disrespecting my time and my energy and my money and this, that in many ways, I've also been not acknowledging how amazing I am. I've been disrespecting the fact that I have worked so hard to get where I'm at in my life. And when I mean disrespect, I just mean haven't been acknowledging that. Okay, so I want you to also acknowledge the things that you do, the things that you do continuously show up for yourself, and that you will continue to do it because you always will, because it's you. Duh. Okay, so anyways, that's going to be it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. Leave a like and a comment down below. Let me know what you want to hear next. Let me know what you liked about this episode. If you're listening on Spotify, don't forget to follow the podcast, because some of you guys are not following, and that way you will always have my podcast just showing up. And if you want to leave me a 5-star review, I would love it. I would love you. So that way this podcast can get out to more people, because one thing that we are doing is we are going up this summer. Okay? Mind, body, soul. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.